Joining me in a CNBC exclusive, Jim Rogers, in town from Singapore. Great to see you, Jim.
I'm delighted to be here.
I'm sorry about my laryngitis, Jim. Let's talk first about that prediction. You have said we're rapidly approaching a crisis that will be worse than 2008. Explain.
Well, Maria, the debts in this country are skyrocketing. You know, in the last 3 years, the government has spent staggering amounts of money, and the Federal Reserve is taking on staggering amounts of debt. When the problems arise next time, and we've had recessions every 4 to 6 years from the beginning of time, the next time we have a recession, what are they going to do? They can't quadruple the debt again. They cannot print that much more money. So it's going to be worse the next time around. I don't particularly like saying that. I'm like you. I'm an American taxpayer, but I have to face facts.
It's fascinating that we're having this unprecedented conversation about raising the debt ceiling. Let me ask you, what kind of a market disruption would you expect a market disruption if, in fact, we were to see this play out all the way until August or September?
Well, if they close down the government, I suspect the dollar would go up, because then people would realize I'm not going to spend any money. They're not going to close down the government, though. I would hope that somebody down there would understand we are facing a crisis. The debts are staggering. We can never pay off these debts. We've got to do something. The market's not going to put up with this much longer.
What should they do?
They should cut spending with a draconian manner. They should cut taxes, and they should cut spending to the bone. We've got troops in 150 countries around the world. They're not doing this any good. They're making enemies. That's costing us a fortune. There are many, many other things that we're wasting money on, and that should be stopped.
You said that the U.S. dollar is going to be a total disaster. Where is U.S. policy going wrong? And you said the Chinese yuan is going to be a safe currency. Talk to us about that.
We have been printing staggering amounts of money, and we're the largest debtor nation. We're the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, Maria, in the history of the world. And the debts are going through the roof. Would you keep lending money to somebody who's spending money and not doing anything about it? No, you wouldn't. The pound sterling, it used to be the world's reserve currency. It's lost its status. It went down 90% from top to bottom when it lost its status. I don't like saying it, but we will too.
Are you short the dollar?
I own the dollar right now, but the reason I own the dollar is because there's so many bears, including me. I stepped in for a bounce, a rally. If it doesn't happen, I'll have to sell and take my losses. No, I'm sitting here long, but just for a rally, not for any long time.
Let me ask you about emerging markets. Everybody's worried about China. How slow is things getting there? Are things getting there?
Well, the Chinese are trying to cool their economy off, rightly so. They've raised interest rates 4 times. They've raised reserve requirements 7 times. They've got an inflation problem. They've got a housing bubble. They're trying to do something about it, rightly so. I hope they pull it off, but it's going to affect their economy, and it's going to affect anybody who does business with China.
So ripple effects, iron ore, copper, talk to us about commodities. The ripple effects of a slowdown in China.
But obviously, if you sell to China, whoever you are, it's going to have an effect when they slow down. But remember, when you talk about commodities, it's supply and demand. Supply is under duress. You know, in this country, for instance, the average age of a farmer is 58 years old, Maria. We've got huge agricultural problems facing us, not just us, the whole world. In 10 years, if they're still alive, they'll be 68. They're not going to be producing a lot of food in 10 years or even 5 years. So the world's got serious supply problems as well as potential demand problems.
Doesn't that make a bullish case for Brazil?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Brazil's going to be in much better shape than they have been in the 80s and 90s. The problem is the Brazilian government is turning into like the old-time Brazilian governments that think they can tax everybody in sight, put on controls to everybody in sight. But I'd rather be there with controls and taxes than here with controls and taxes, because they at least have a lot of natural resources.
So how do you invest in the China story?
Well, the best way is to buy the renminbi. And you can do that more and more. I mean, in New York, the Bank of China's got a branch, and you can go down and open an account now. Any American can. Or you can buy commodities. You can buy Chinese stocks. I own Chinese stocks, but for most people, that's not a good suggestion. I would say buy the currency or buy commodities.
Let's talk more about commodities, because you said silver prices in the near term are coming down even further.
Well, they have come down, yes. You're right about that. I don't know if they'll go down more from here. It would be good if they did, because then I could buy more cheap. I want to buy more silver. I'm not selling my silver. And if silver comes down because demand slows, you see what's happening in the stock markets around the world. So if you see that happen and that causes commodities or silver to correct some more, pick up the phone and buy some more silver.
What about gold?
Same thing. Pick up the phone and buy some more gold. I hope they come down. You know, gold could go down $200 or $300 and still be in a bull market. That's not a prediction. I'm just saying. It would be a normal correction for silver and for gold and for all commodities, and it would be good for the world.
So where else do you want to be long? Are you long in the U.S. in any way?
I'm long commodities and I'm long currencies. I'm not long anything in the U.S. I'm short emerging markets, and I'm short American technology stocks, and I'm
Why?
short.
Talk
I'm
to us
short
about
one major American financial company.
Which one?
I got a lot of friends who work in that bank. I don't want to tell them.
So what about technology? Talk to us, because a lot of people talking about a new bubble underway.
That's why I'm short. I mean, there's one of the most overexploited parts of the stock market around the world has been American technology stock. You read the same paper, you watch the same TV I do. You can see LinkedIn, Facebook, all of these things. This is maybe not a bubble yet, but it's the beginning of a bubble, so that's where my shorts are.
What's been untouched in the world? What do you like longer term?
Long term? Well, again, commodities. If the world economy gets better, commodities are going to do well. If it doesn't get better, Maria, they're going to print more money. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's all they know to do in Washington and Tokyo and a few places. They'll print more money. And if they print money, you should own silver and rice and real assets.
What's your take on Bernanke? What do you think happens at the end of QE2?
Since the first day Mr. Bernanke went to Washington, I've told you he was going to be a disaster. He's never been right about anything in the 7 or 8 years he's been down there. I hope he doesn't come back with QE3, but that's all he knows. The only thing he knows to do is to print money. He doesn't understand finance. He doesn't understand currencies. He doesn't understand economics. He understands printing money, and he's going to print more money whether we like it or not. It's the wrong thing to do, but that's what he'll do.
So market disruption come the end of June because QE2 goes away?
QE2 is definitely going to go away. Now, it may come back with a different name. They may call it cupcakes. Who knows what they'll call it when he comes back. But they're going to bring it back because he'll be terrified, and Washington will be terrified. There's an election coming in November of 2012. Washington's going to print more money.
And as far as that bank that you're short, what's the issue? Specific to that one bank, or is it an industry issue?
It's the bank that hasn't gone down as much as the others. There are issues for banking in America and worldwide, balance sheets, credit card problems. I got too many friends there.
Jim, it's great to have you on the program.
I'm delighted to be here.
Always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Your voice gets better.
Thank you very much. Jim Rogers.